Howdy, howdy, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Between Two Wolves. We got a two for today. We've got Squirrr, one of the leads of Monumenta here. And Squirrr, how are you today?
Doing pretty great.
Well, fantastic. What are we doing today? Where are we?
We are in the Gray Dungeon, and we're gonna just run through, kind of casual-like, and just, that's about it.
Sounds like fun. And what is your relationship to this dungeon? Why'd you pick this?
I picked this because, I built the entire thing.
Oh, do tell. When was that? How'd that happen?
Oh my gosh. It's one of the first things I actually built for the game. 3 years ago. I kind of just wanted to, like, work on my building skills, and I was, like, afraid to work on the main region with people, so I was just...
So you did a whole dungeon?
I just built my own bedrock boxes, like, looked up some pictures of, like, Egypt online for, like, the buildings and kind of, like, the vibe, and, yeah, I accidentally built the whole thing.
You accidentally the whole thing. That's like saying, I don't know if I can run a 5K. Best do a marathon to figure out first.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was going to build it with Busty, but then, never actually showed up, so I accidentally built the whole thing.
Aww.
I got him to do mechs, though, so it worked out okay.
That's good. Well, Gray does have some cool mechs, which we might see in this video, depending on how quickly we go.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us all the things that you do for the game, and what sort of things are in the game that players can play that they can point to and go, oh, Squirrr made that?
Oh man. Okay, obviously Gray, but I've done a lot of stuff for the Corridors dungeon, Shifting City, a couple depths things, a lot of stuff just in general in R2, so like a couple POIs, I've done
A couple.
a couple. I don't know.
Is that you just being modest, or I mean, are we talking more or less than 20?
Well, like, the other thing that I've done that's really a big contribution to the game is I manage the build contributors. So I work with a lot of people, just they build something, I help them get it into better shape, or I work with them. So a lot of like the builder POIs. I also have really builder POIs, builder projects, builder rooms for all the kinds of dungeons. I help shape those as well, so even though they're not fully mine and I'm just helping, it's a big part of what makes the game cool, is working with other people and coming up with something nice.
Absolutely. When did you start the game, and how did you find it in the first place? And when did you start as a dev? I think those are all going to be pretty much the same thing, but...
They're pretty much the same thing, yeah. I'm really good friends in real life with Caladoon, and he played a lot of CTM maps with us. And he said, hey, I'm building this cool server with some other CTM folks, and would you like to just check it out? And so we walked around, I think it was Alpha, just on the dev server, just looking at stuff, and I don't know, just kind of a couple things you wanted to work on and play with, and then we kind of just, Busty and I both at the same time joined, and we've kind of been here ever since.
Awesome. Did y'all play Minecraft before meeting him, or hanging out with him, or did he introduce you to the game itself?
We both started playing it a little bit in college, so that was a couple of years before Monumenta was a thing, but I played for quite a while before joining the team and working on it.
Very cool. How'd you come up with your username?
It's actually my dad who made it for me, because I was like, I don't know, in middle school or high school, and he was like setting up some email stuff for me. It's like, you like squirrels? I have chosen Squirrr. But there was one, the Squirrr with 2 R's was taken, so you have 3 now.
That's amazing.
I kind of just rolled with it.
Lowercase and everything?
Yeah, he doesn't
That's
capitalize
great.
anything either, so it's fine. I don't know. Once you have something, it's hard to change too, so.
For sure. That's delightful.
Yes.
What is the piece of content in the game that you have worked on that you like the least?
I like the least.
These are patron questions, by the way.
Interesting. So the thing that I made that I like the least is there's a POI in R2 and it's the ice boat, and I think it's just like the ugliest boat that I could have built. It was one of the first things I built, and it's like super square. And then some of the quest people decided they loved it, so it's like in a whole bunch of like the starter R2 quests, and it's like every time I see it, it's like, man, why is this the boat I came up with? It's just so square. But
Is it the one that you use to like fast travel for the raiding party quest?
No,
like a
it's
full
an actual
POI?
POI. It's
Oh,
I don't know. It's used in the Duchess quest series. There's something else it's used for too. Like different versions of that boat, and it's just the world's
gotcha.
ugliest boat. It's shameful.
I'll just take your word for it.
Yes, I know. I'm the only one who thinks this, by the way.
Yeah,
I've like complained to other
it
people, and
doesn't
they're like,
stand out.
"It's fine." It's like,
You have
especially
high
when we get like some
standards.
really cool other POIs that have boats, like the Dueling Fleets POI. It's just like these epic giant boats that are just actually super fun to play through, and they look really cool. And
Sure.
then
Okay.
there's like my square little barge. Like,
Squirrr little barge.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's great. What, completely independently of what you've made, what's your favorite thing in Monumenta to play?
My favorite thing to play is Shifting City.
Do
And
tell.
I've made part of that too, but I don't know. I think I must like suffering because I die a lot there. But I really like the random generation of the rooms and navigating your way through the maze, and I don't know. Just every time that like I get that like a dungeon delve bounty, I'm like, yes, shifting again.
Nice.
So played it probably the most of anything.
Cool, cool, cool. What about your least favorite
My least favorite.
to play?
My least favorite probably teal. I just find that like
Wow.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's still like good content. It's just hard to dedicate that much time to playing something. I don't know. I feel like I play that because of the way the setup is. It's three of the same area. Yes, there's like additions and changes as you move through the eras, but it's just a really long experience.
True.
And I don't know. I feel exhausted when I play that. And if I get that for like a Delph bounty, I just say maybe not this week.
That's fair. If you could
But
change anything about both of those, completely independently of griping or reasonable limitations, what would it be?
I mean, for teal, if I could like just play like the third era, I think I would have like all the best parts. Was just playing through the build once, and it being a shorter experience because I do think it's fun. It's really just too long. And then for shifting, I don't know. I just always appreciate more rooms, so that wouldn't really change too much besides just adding more content to it, and that's about it. More
Very
is
nice.
better.
Are you aware of that one floor one room in depths that's known as the square room? Do you know the one?
The boats.
Yeah, yeah.
The
How do you
boats
feel
that are
about it
actually
being
good.
known?
I love that. It was like Shadow's like, I need somebody to build a room with boats. Just like and waterfalls. Like, I got you. I don't know. It was really fun. I really like to build things when
Okay.
somebody gives me some kind of inspiration. They say just even like something simple like a room with boats and waterfalls, and it's much easier for me to do that if I have that like first little bit of direction.
Sure, sure. What makes a boat good? Like, what makes those boats good and the ice boat not good?
Well, the ice boat looks like it would sink if you put it on actual water. It's just, I don't know. It's just big and square and ugly. But the other boats, I like the way that they're like ruined and part of the room, just
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
it's a good
ground.
room.
They're not like the main focus of the room, they're just more there for decoration. It's really hard to build like a nice boat. In fact, like a lot of work I've done in R2, I've done ocean stuff and
Did
in
Busty go in here independently of us?
I have no idea. It kind of looks like it. But what was I saying? Boats. Oh, there's like a
Boats,
couple
yes.
boats in like R2 and like mostly that other people have built, and there's those small built, and I have used those and copy pasted them and probably swapped the colors like 10 times
Nice.
each. Like you wouldn't know that like I only have like 4 boats in my arsenal and they're all from other people, and I just rearranged them in completely different ways. That's pretty much that's my hack. It's like don't build your own boats.
Brilliant. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If
I
you
did
were
build
the...
these boats in gray though. The boats in
Oh,
gray
yeah.
are
And how do
they're like
these
a
rank as
nicer.
boats?
These have like a really nice like boat part, but that square sail is just not quite my favorite.
The wind doesn't blow. It's in a valley,
I
of
know
course. It wouldn't be warped. You're just thinking of the physics of it.
It's just really hard to make round and things with square blocks. It's just kind of the name of the game sometimes.
Well said. If you were the dictator of Monumenta for a single day and no one could stop you from doing anything you wanted to the game, what would you do?
Oh god, I just like replace all the blocks with TNT and just go nuts.
That's the best answer we've gotten for that question so far. Well said. On play or build?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Best one.
Yes.
Who is your favorite other team member?
Favorite other team member? Probably Wondersim. I work with her a lot, and she always inspires me and motivates me to build more and better things. And I don't know, she's just really great. She's very talented, so I always
Amen,
learn
she is.
something when I work with her.
That's funny. Busty instantly said you when he got the question.
Oh no.
But then he went and clarified aside from the given.
No, I mean, he's fine, I guess.
And for those who are listening, he's listening in on all this too.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
chilling with us running these.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, these caves. These are my least favorite part of Gray, by the way. These caves that I built. I used to have 5.
Well, whose fault is that?
I know, it's totally my fault. Well, the thing is, when we started building this dungeon, I decided to make a mock-up of, like, everything I wanted. Like, I knew I wanted a city, I knew I wanted a giant pyramid, because, like, that's Egyptian. That's on theme. And then I wasn't really sure what to do for, like, the rest of the space. So it's like, well, you know, they have, like, caves and tombs, and I'm sure I can come up with something. So I built, like, these 5 noodly caves. And they were awful. They were like totally cramped. They were totally uninteresting. They had no defining features. And then
The
they kind of
purple?
just
That's pretty special.
Oh, the purple's a different story. We'll come back to that.
Looking
But
forward to it.
I just didn't know what to put in the caves for decoration. So I actually spent like so much time just like, I don't know, trying to give them purpose and space. And I eventually like merged the 5 caves into 3. And then we decided that for the key mechanics for the dungeon, it's not actually very interesting to play all of it all the time. So that's why the keys randomized to you only need X amount of objectives before you can get in the main pyramid, which is my favorite part of the dungeon, is after you've
Understandable.
gone in the pyramid and move forward.
It's very special.
But
Can you have a minimum? Is it 2 or 3 that
I
you can
think
possibly get in?
I think it's 3.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah, it's 3.
Nice. Do you have any thoughts about upcoming releases to Minecraft, the game itself?
I honestly don't keep track of any of that.
Even new blocks?
No, I mean, I know some of the new blocks because other people tell me, but they're not real to me until they're in my
Yeah,
hands
sure,
so I
I
can
get
place
that.
them. So yeah. I'm just optimistic that there'll be something new that I'll like, but I have no idea what's really coming.
Sure.
Oh yes, the purple. So I built the entire dungeon, and I built all of the walls were placeholder everywhere. So I had like the general shapes, and it was one of the last things I was trying to set. And so I got help from other people, like suggestions, like the dungeon was like brown walls, gray walls. It's like, man, I feel like we've seen this everywhere. So I was trying to pick like a different color, and I accidentally typed in. They used to be color codes instead of like you would type in like 35-4 and it would be like terracotta color 4. So I messed up when I was typing in and accidentally ended up with purple instead of whatever brown combination I was trying to come up with. And it's like, wait a second, I actually like the purple.
That's amazing.
So-
I had no idea.
It was, yeah, this, iteration of palette number like 25 and it just mistyped and hit on this like the dark purple color. It's like, you know what? I like it. We're gonna keep this. So now it's purple, and I think it works great.
I think so too. Pairs well with all the gold and the bone. Purple,
Yeah.
white, and gold is a good combo.
Actually,
Do you,
nice.
yeah. Do you have a caffeine addiction?
I wouldn't call it an addiction, but I do drink about 10 cups of tea a day.
Nice.
I
Very
don't
nice.
know. Doesn't even have to be like caffeinated tea. I just like tea.
Sure. I totally get that. Favorite kind?
Earl Grey, black.
Fantastic taste.
Mhm.
What's something that you regret regarding Monumenta? It could be something that happened that you wish didn't, or something that never happened that you wish could have.
Oh, the thing I regret most is we were making R2, and the two continents were close together, and for some reason, somebody had a great idea to let's move them further apart so we can make more ocean content. And so we did. And then we had
are
an
we gonna
empty...
name drop?
I mean, it was Chris. It was
Was
totally
it really?
Chris's fault. It was absolutely Chris's fault. And he was
I
doing
don't
great.
remember that.
He made all these cool ocean biomes. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And then he kind of didn't. He kind of was on break after that. So then we had this giant like sand pit of an ocean everywhere. And it was one of the things like holding back release is we literally have no ocean content. We have like a couple cool biomes, and then we have a lot of empty space. So it took months to make all those extra biomes and fill stuff in. You know, eventually we knew like people would invent more content to fill the space, but we really didn't need to add that extra like, I don't know, 400 blocks wide across content addition that we didn't ever have good plans to fill. But yeah, that's probably the thing that's the only thing I regret.
Answer. I think it's fair to say that we might have one of the best oceans that has ever been made in Minecraft. I've never seen anyone like try to go for that sort of density for something most people won't see.
Yeah, I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it has way too much decoration, but at the same time, it's really cool. So
it's very cool.
Can't be too mad about it.
Was there ever a time that you felt like giving up on a certain aspect of Monumenta, if not Monumenta itself?
Not really. I kind of like everything I do, and I do a lot of stuff and work with other people where we iterate on something. So even if I'm not happy with what we started with, I can usually get to a point where I'm happy with whatever we're working on or whatever I've created. So just trying to remember that what you've done isn't final. You can always work on it to make it better.
Well said. Did you ever feel overwhelmed by the obligations that you've kind of created as being a lead and such an influential person here?
Sometimes it's kind of hard when you feel like, hey, I need help, and then you get no response. Like, well, I guess I'm gonna do it. But the team has gotten bigger, so it feels like there's a lot more people willing to like jump in and help. So it's just knowing how to set your expectations, and I don't know. That's about it.
Good. Did you feel pressured to be like, I don't know if you're naturally a perfectionist, but perfect right from the get-go?
Yes, which is why I was afraid to work in other areas and build Gray. We had just started R2, and I was leaving that to the more experienced builders at the time. I was like, I'll just like hang out in Gray, build Gray, and then if it's wrong, then that's fine. It doesn't affect anybody with me. But I am not a perfectionist. I really do believe that sometimes things are just good enough, and there's no reason to spend all of your time making something the best it could be.
Sure.
But I just didn't want to ruin things in the beginning, and which is just silly because then I've done so much more building and touching other people's projects and working with them. So
do you want to show us the most important room in the dungeon?
Most important room in the dungeon? Yes, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. See, I had to make this. This super secret place was actually always here, but it was just a boring like loot room at the other side. But then I found on DevWarp one day someone had made me this wonderful spawner. It was just spewing all over the place. It's like, you know what? This could totally live in Gray and no one will notice.
Oh, we did.
I just added it without telling people. But, you know, it was a couple months after launch.
Oh, did it really take them that long?
No, after I added it. So like this was just regular, and then I found the spawner. It's like I have to retheme this one room. And now.
Well said. It adds much soul to the game. Glad you did.
Yeah, I think Nick Gus made the spawner, and it was just hanging out on my DevWarp for.
Thank you, Nick.
For for a while before I even noticed it.
What percentage of the game's cakes are placed by you, would you estimate?
Oh, about 90%.
Okay, good.
I was
Because I thank you in my head whenever I find a cake and need some food. So I'm glad that
generally
that's not misplaced.
what I would do is if I work with somebody on like what they were building and I felt like I did a good enough portion of it to get some kind of credit, I would just, if it made sense, I would just sneakily add like a cake like on a shelf or on a table. I don't like to hide them, but they are just about, and that's why. It's usually because I
Hide it,
worked
it'll
on
go
something.
stale.
I know, that would be the worst. But
That's great. I love that. Was there ever a time I'll phrase this two different ways. You can answer it however you want. What's the biggest thing you've ever scrapped? Or what's the biggest thing you've been tempted to scrap and kept, ultimately?
biggest thing I've ever scrapped. I've scrapped so much just like terrain for the most part. I don't usually like to scrap things once I've like started decorating and added more details to stuff, but like if it's just like a square building or like a cave or a piece of terrain and I'm not happy with it, I mean, I've scrapped a couple depth rooms that I've probably spent like 5 hours, and it's just, you can usually tell it's worth scrapping something if you spend a half an hour trying to like fix one thing and then you find another thing in another half hour and it's like, well, it's not quite right, it's not quite right. Like if you have to keep tweaking something, sometimes it's better to just set the whole thing to air and start over. So I have definitely done that many times.
Sure.
But I forgot the second half of your question.
Either one. What's also the biggest thing that you considered scrapping but decided to keep?
So
If
it's
anything.
we were trying to come up with another subset for roguelike corridors in the beginning, and it was before Sunken Temple came together. And I remember like trying to work out, we were going to do like a demonic temple, like more of a fire themed one. And the final pattern in the final room of gray, so we'll go up to that, it was extra heavily decorated and detailed and kind of those colors. And I built a whole bunch of that pattern and corridors, rooms of that style, but they just felt too cramped and it really wasn't working out. So that was like a big thing to have scrapped, but it found a new purpose as the pattern for the final room of gray.
Nice.
So
Well, I'm glad you kept that because that's a fun room.
yeah, no, the room was always there. It was like a giant bedrock square. It's like I have no idea what to put here, but it's the end of the dungeon. I'm sure it will come to me later. And then once we scrapped that subset, it was the thing that I reused, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out.
Neat. That's important. What is your favorite CTM map?
Probably Ragecraft 2. Just had so much fun. Like, those were some of the first CTM maps where it felt really challenging and like you had to really manage your resources and the equipment, and it's probably one of the only ones I played twice.
Nice. Do you have a favorite area that stands out in 2?
Um,
In your mind? Busty had the same answer, by the way, and he was.
yeah.
It was the
I
horror
really
ones.
love when you come back from one of the
Yes,
wolves
Brown.
and your base is not your base, but
That was his answer too.
infested. It's just such a mind trick. I just loved that. So
Great
it's
answer.
extremely memorable and just yeah.
I think it was Brown.
I think it was Brown. That sounds like the right step.
Oh, that's such a good memory. Just thinking about that.
Yes.
Discovering it yourself.
Especially because we had no idea it was coming.
Yeah. Do you still keep up with CTM releases of any sort?
I've played a few of the newer ones by Render, I believe. I don't know anything in the last year though. It's been a while since I picked up something new. But
Nice.
that's about it.
Do you like this is the patron's question. You might understand what they mean by this more than me. What do you think of the direction of modern CTM maps?
Direction.
That they've gone.
I'm not really sure I actually have an answer to that one because I don't know if I've played enough modern ones.
Sure.
I played a ton of Vex ones and Delicios, obviously, but not too much from the new.
Perfectly fine. What's your favorite bit of drama that's happened in Monumenta?
Drama. Not entirely sure I have like a favorite. I don't really notice. I don't know. I tend to not be in a lot of conversations that are rolling around in circles, and I don't know. I feel like most of the drama is just like interpersonal conflicts with other people, and that's just not really my vibe. So I kind of just stay out of it.
Perfectly reasonable. Good answer. Do you have any cool scars or a story that goes with them? And emotional scars are valid.
Emotional scars. I mean, like, the biggest scar I have is, like, I fell off my bike when I was, like, 7. That's just my knees just got a scar on it. I guess that's sort of interesting.
Were you going fast?
No.
Oh.
No. I was just going around, like, I was learning to ride, and so I just... Oh, yeah. Busty just reminded me of something. I was taking my dogs for a walk one time, and, they saw something across the road, and I had one on each arm, and they just dragged me down the sidewalk and the pavement. So I had,
ouch.
That was just,
I know that feeling.
just about 10 feet, and so, like, my entire, everywhere, like, I had, like, a joint, so all of my elbows, my ankles, my wrists, my knees, everything was ripped and, like, torn open, and that was probably the worst, but I didn't get scars from that, so.
It's a pretty cool story. I'd
Yeah.
say that counts. What kind of dogs?
My parents had Irish Terriers, so they're kind of like Irish setters, but they're smaller, but they're red.
Oh.
I guess.
What were their names? Or are? I don't know if they're still around.
No, they've passed on, but Rocket and Rogue.
Awesome. What was your favorite subject in school?
It's not really like a subject, but I always liked my science classes, so like chemistry and biology. There was just, I don't know, those are always interesting to me. I don't know, that's about all I.
Sure.
Yeah, that's not really like a class per se, but just like that subject.
Yeah, the sciences, the physical sciences, that's perfectly valid. Has anything in your educational history or just life in general inspired anything here in Monumenta?
Don't really think like directly, but just being organized maybe. And trying to have like a list of tasks and managing your time.
Do you want to tell us like what in your life prepared you for that? Is that what you're getting at?
I was always supposed to be like straight A student, and for like the most part I was, so that's just like a lot of pressure, but to be successful you have to manage your time and studying and just doing every assignment, showing up for every class. I actually had perfect attendance in high school.
Wow.
And middle school. I guess I missed like 3 days of elementary school, otherwise I was there every freaking day.
That's amazing.
So, just that kind of constantly being on and on top of stuff.
Rock steady.
Yes.
Fantastic. What is the most difficult issue that you've encountered and overcome here in Monumenta? Technical, build, whatever. Problem you've solved, if you want to say it that way.
I don't really like have something like I've overcome like that. It's usually I like do something like the extremely hard way, like tediously and slow and by hand, and then like afterwards you learn about like some super cool tool or technique that would have made your life better. I just tend to just struggle through with whatever I'm doing, even if it's not efficient. Usually for building stuff, but you know. Yeah, no one thing that I can think of though.
Sounds good. What is your biggest skill issue moment in Monumenta?
Oh man, let's see. Probably being like just dumb and like falling off cliffs. Like I'll like peek over the edge of something to look, and it's just accidentally go all the way.
I know that feeling.
I've definitely done that in Teal, where I've looked over an edge and missed the void.
Ouch. Did you land on the edge and lose stuff? Have you ever
Oh
like full
yeah,
wiped to void? Oh man,
yeah, yeah,
that's the worst.
yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah. Since all of our work is voluntary and we're not getting paid and we don't have jobs, what keeps you motivated? How are you still here?
I really there's always just one more thing. So I feel like you finish like one project and then like there's 2 or 3 more ideas and projects to take its place, so that you just never feel finished, but you finish enough small tasks that it's satisfying and feeling like you're making progress and making the game better. So it's really just about coming up with cool things and then iterating to make them better over time, or just adding new content.
Well said. Last patron question, and do bear in mind, a player is asking this, so you can answer. What do you wish the player base would quit doing? Could be annoying or legitimately demotivating.
It's mostly just like minorly annoying, but every time we do like a changelog and it's like a balance heavy changelog, or like now they're on a monthly cadence, so it's less of an issue, but you'll do like hundreds of hours of projects coming together and you launch like this big new thing, but you change the stats on like one sword, and that's the only thing people notice and talk about. It's like, well, I mean, I guess that's important, but like, what about all this other cool stuff? So, I don't know.
Amen.
But it's just minorly annoying. Like, I get it. Like, a lot of people play the game to get the best item set and stomp through stuff, so it makes sense, but it is also frustrating.
Same. Why is Monumenta special to you, as both a game and a project?
It's special to me probably because of the community. I really like everybody, for the most part, that we work with, that plays our game. People really seem to care, both as devs and players, so I find that just something really unique to have like a strong sense of community. It makes it feel worth putting in the time, because people like what you're doing. And they are in it together, so there really is just that sense of community that I like about this.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna follow you because I've never figured out like exactly which hallways are which in the pyramid.
I built
especially
this,
the library. It's magical how you made that thing so confusing.
Yeah, so the sandstone part here was actually platforms and free space. But then somebody told me that it was terrible, so then I enclosed it all, and now it's like very cramped and maze like here. And then I just really love the way the library maze came together too. I don't even know why I do some things. They just kind of end up.
Nice. That was a good volley.
Volley's the best. I pretty much only play Scout. I know there's
much...
other classes, but this is really the only one that matters.
Well said. I would almost say that volley is like the signature ability of Monumenta. It was one of the first things that was ever shown off.
Yeah.
It's never been touched.
I really love
solid.
Eagle Eye, because I just like to know where the mobs are. It's nice that it also, I think it makes them take more damage. I don't know. I just know it makes them glow, and that's my favorite.
Perfectly reasonable. What are some things that you love to do outside of the game? Hobbies. What brings you joy?
I really love skiing. That's something that I picked up a couple years ago, and now I don't know, I ski Black Diamond level skiing and have just a great time every time we go out. I also really like to rock climb and go hiking and national parks, and kind of just like the outdoorsy activities and some extreme sports.
Nice. Did you grow up doing that, or did you pick it up in adulthood?
I picked all of that up after high school. So
cool. What was your gateway drug into all that? How'd you discover that?
Let's see, for rock climbing, our college had a climbing class that was really cool, where they took you outside and you actually got to not just be in the gym with the fancy, colorful holds. You actually got to go outside and climb real rocks. So that was just cool that they had somebody who was like willing to take people out and teach you all the techniques and safety, and just that was fun. And then for skiing, we just kind of bought tickets one day. Busty and his family came out to visit us, and it's like, we're gonna learn to ski. I learned to ski by going up the wrong lift, of course, though. So I thought I was going up like, the cute little bunny lift for the small hill. But we just couldn't read the map very well, so it's like, there are a lot of people over here. This has to be the right place. So I fell, getting on the lift is like, that's not a good sign. And I fell getting off the lift. And then about every 20 feet, the whole way rested down. So, took me 3 hours to get down the mountain on this one run, and now I can do it in 8 minutes. No, 3 minutes. 8 minutes with the ski lift. It's just amazing how hard it is to stand up on your skis. But once you figure it out, there's nothing like moving that fast. And just the air is just cold, and then you're just, yeah, I just love it.
What would you call that? It's not a trial by fire, trial by snow? To learn that hard of a way?
For me I don't know, I get really motivated when I'm really mad, and so I was pissed that I could not ski this well, at the beginning I thought it was the beginner hill, but I figured it can't be this hard, what's wrong with me? And I just get mad, and I don't know, then I get even. So
Nice. How many years did it take you to get up to Black Diamond skill, as you put it?
It's less about years and how many times you go. So I would say after about 5 or 6 days, I was pretty proficient, and about 10 days, can ski all the terrain in the resort.
Nice. Is that fast or is that typical? I've never been skiing.
I have no idea. I looked up no guys. I just showed up. It's we rented skis, and it's I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Awesome.
I was the only one who hadn't been skiing before, though, so it was extra exciting.
Cool. I'm sure they were impressed by that. Whoever it was.
That was horrible because Busty and his family were there, and they were all telling me different things to do. Every time I fell, it's no, you gotta put your feet like this, or no, your hips are wrong, or do your legs this way. It's I can't even stand, and all the advice is contradicting. But it worked out, and now I love it. It's probably my favorite hobby.
Very cool. How often do you get to go out there these days?
When in our heyday we were going every single weekend, but it's been harder to stay into it with the pandemic and everything being closed, so now it's about once a month in the wintertime.
Nice. Any other extra Monumenta hobbies that you want to mention?
Don't really think so.
Sounds good. What has surprised you most about this project, specifically making it? Or it could be about its mere existence or how well it's done. Just what surprised you about Monumenta?
I think what's surprising is that it's still here. In the beginning, it really felt like just a group of friends making something cool and inviting a slightly larger group, and we just really didn't expect it to grow to what it is today. So I guess that it's grown and evolved, and it's a lot of fun.
I agree. What's your fondest memory playing the game and developing the game?
Playing a game.
How did we loop back? How did you do this? How did you make I felt like we were making progress.
No, we just cleared the outer ring. It's easy.
No, this is magic. This is a cult. What did you do?
I like books, so I put lots of them out. What was the question? I forgot already. I'm sorry.
Favorite memory playing and making the game.
Favorite memory playing.
If they're separate, you could combine them.
I really liked. We did this. Oh no! Wait. Okay, my favorite memory of developing is we were working on getting the R2 desert together, and we had a whole bunch of like build contributors just built POIs just randomly on this piece of sand patch we gave them. It's like, this is perfect. And so I like pasted them all into the world, and then Chip and other people, it's like, well, the terrain isn't quite right. So they like cut out the POIs, we rocketed them up into the sky, and we fixed the terrain and we planted them back down. And then, well, the terrain isn't quite right. So then, like, the POIs, especially around El Nero, like that biome in the Oasis, have probably been, like, in the sky and floated around and replaced, like, 3 or 4 times each. It's just insane how much...
Wow.
But I really, like, wanted to honor the POIs and builds that the builders, team and not at the time, had built us. So, like, I can't just scrap these things. I'll just keep flying them up and... Eventually they'll find their final home. It's probably my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite dev memory for sure.
I love that.
Don't know favorite playing.
No worries if not.
Oh, it was the Ugandan like Knuckles event that we ran, where everybody was just like didn't have any armor, just like the massive bodies. Just like I think we played
White.
orange, white. We did like every single
yes.
dungeon. It was like 2 a week, so I joined one of them, and it was just absolute chaos and madness. But it was just so much fun.
Those were... Man, I hadn't thought about that in a while. Thank you for the reminder. What is your favorite non-Monumenta video game, and why?
Favorite non-Monumenta? Probably Subnautica. I just really... I don't know. I'm actually afraid of the ocean and the dark water, so you'd think I would hate it, but they did such a great job with the design and the story and like the open world feel that even though there are those terrifying sea monsters, it's just a good time. And if I had to pick like a really close second, I'd probably say Terraria.
Superb
Just
taste.
like
And
I just like how open that is, and it's really control your own adventure, and I really love it. I've played it probably like 3 or 4 times at this point
Nice.
from scratch.
All the way up to Star-Lord?
Oh yeah, on expert
Nice.
level too.
Whoa!
Wait, expert, hardcore? What you
Either
get? You
one.
can, master. You can die,
Are you
but
kidding me?
it's the hardest level that you can still, yeah, master level.
That's insane.
I just love it.
Very impressive.
I just like to suffer, so that's why I like Shifting City as my favorite Monumenta dungeon. 'Cause you just get to die a lot. That's
There you go.
satisfying.
And I totally get the Subnautica thing for what it's worth. I'm also terrified of the ocean, and that
Oh,
was my favorite game
yeah.
of 2018.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do
Second
that
one
for all the
wasn't
money
as
in
good,
the world.
but no. Oh god,
Getting
no.
in the water with things like
No.
that.
No, I screamed a couple times when we played through it the first time. That's for sure.
Awesome. What are some of your other favorite media things? Movie, TV show, music, books, color, all of the above.
My favorite color is green. Movies and books. I read a lot of murder mysteries are probably my favorite. Kind of like thriller, suspense. Don't really have like a particular one, but I just read like endless books in that genre. Big Star Trek fan. Movies, TV.
Yes, you got me watching the original
I
series.
grew up on the original series, and yeah, everyone should watch it. And
Do you have a favorite single episode? Because I know Trekkies
Trouble with
like
Tribble.
know all of them.
Oh yes, absolutely.
That's great.
Definitely Trouble with Tribbles.
Cute.
It's a classic.
For sure.
Sure.
So, you got him. Wonderful. Music, movie. Yeah, you answered the book and TV show.
Oh.
Anything else?
My
related to that?
favorite band is Breaking Benjamin,
Nice.
but the music I listen to most often is probably just like pop. So whatever, like the America's Top 40, like whatever's on the radio today, that's what I'm listening to. Don't even have to like the songs. You learn all the words, and eventually you learn to like whatever they give you.
Sure.
Oh God, they guessed.
Okay, we're gonna insert this because I thought of another question while we're in this final room here. What is your favorite national park and why?
Let's
Tell
see.
us now.
Absolutely has to be Yellowstone. It just looks like a freaking alien planet.
How so?
There's a whole bunch of like bacterial mats and pools that are just very interesting, weird colors. So it really is like nothing you've seen. All the geothermal activity in the vents, and and it's also a really big park. So there's a lot to see and a lot to do. But it really does feel like parts of it you're just on a different planet.
Cool.
That's what's really cool about a lot of the national parks is they're generally something you don't see every day or just, your normal nature hike through the woods. There's some super cool feature that makes it unique and worth protecting, and it has just the infrastructure to make hiking there and being there cool. So, but definitely Yellowstone.
That was Busty's answer too when I asked him last week. So
Almost like
2
he's
votes,
been there
2-0. I'll have to check it out myself. Cool. Just wanted to get your opinion on that one as we finished. Well, no worries. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview and run your dungeon with me. And I love this one. I don't think there's any dungeon that I dislike, but it's just such a fun treat to play it.
It's just short and sweet.
It is. Well done, both of y'all.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? So you said the pyramid is your favorite bit. Do you have a favorite bit within the pyramid?
Obviously the book maze.
Well
The
said.
book maze and the final room.
How do you approach the final room? This is the real personality test. Forget like INTP.
Well, you go to the gas spawner first.
Okay.
And then you work your way down. And then
Myers-Briggs, that's what that's called.
Yeah. The personality things. You have to go for the gas spawner first, and then you just have to hope you don't get blasted into the lava.
There you
the
have
lava
it, folks.
used to be
that is a canon Monumenta strategy now.
It was more exciting though before when we had void underneath the lava, not just in the middle for like show, but it used to be if you fell from the high platform, you were getting full wiped. But apparently that was unpopular, so we took it out.
Can't think why.
Especially because you can't see it, it's kind of just a surprise. The other dungeons with void, you kind of know exactly what you're getting into, so. Yeah.
I suppose that's fair.
I know.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me tonight and for the fun dungeon and for making this project so much fun to be with.
Yeah, thanks.
We're all very, very glad you're a part
for having me.
All right. Thanks for the interview. Thank y'all for watching and for asking square questions. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.